Hey everybody, welcome to the art stream. Let me get rid of the strip we just did and go over to, ta-da, Krita. Krita. Krita? I assume
I
Krita.
have I have no idea.
This is that open source art program that I was using before, and
Oh, nice.
I'm doing a little work for the website. So the strip that I usually draw, Legend of Bill, we had some let's say issues with the web server and the server company and the host. So there's a new web server now, and there'll soon be a new website. If you go to the website currently, I think you get a redirector. Let me try it. Yep. That's what you get. Here, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So this is currently the web page for Legend of Bill, and it's about the best we can do for right now. We threw this together as quickly as we could, and you'll see the links down here so that you can catch it on GoComics and on Facebook. Facebook will have the most current strips, and then the GoComics pages will have archive strips. But we are back. We're back. So we've been getting a lot of traffic and a lot of questions and a lot of stuff like that going on. So fear not. We're okay. We're still here. We're still making art. We're still doing this thing. But we're going to be at a little different spot soon. So that being said, we're making some art for that landing page to let everybody know that, hey, we're moving. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let me make sure everybody's good. Twitch is good. YouTube is saying that I have not such good stream health. I'm only getting a yellow rating, and that's kind of bothersome. Which means that Watch Me Work is only going to get that same quality from YouTube. Why, YouTube? Why? Also, I'm going to kick in some music. Music tonight is courtesy of SoundCloud. We've got GlitchX City playing. That's the artist. As well as Ramstar, which you guys may know from YouTube fame. We've got a lot of Glitch and Ramstar on here because they do... Oh, and RPZ coming up later. They do royalty-free music for people like me and people who make videos on YouTube. So, you know what? We're going to spread that love. Go check them out on SoundCloud.com.
I've never felt older in my life than having you just rattle off all those names and have no idea who you're talking about.
You don't know Ramstar?
I felt like the old man shaking his fist standing on the porch
Oh
at
my
those
god.
youngsters.
How do you not know Ramstar?
Well, you know.
It's all like Pokemon remixes.
Oh, you should have. Nope, still don't know. That's one genre of music I haven't really gotten into a whole lot.
What, Pokemon remixes?
Well, or video game music remixes at all. But like the only ones I've come close to is like I'm trying to think like I said a Pandora Skrillex channel or something like that, and they had like some Tetris remixes.
Skrillex.
You know? Yeah, I'm dropping the big names now. See how cool I am?
Skrillex is for old guys.
It pretty much is, right?
Skrillex is for old folks.
Whatevs. You know, I like what I like. It's loud and it makes my car go boom, boom, boom.
I have nothing against Skrillex.
No, Skrillex is pretty good. I mean, he did sort of introduce the whole genre to a lot of people. For better or worse.
I keep doing that.
You saw the Stranger Things cleaned up last night, right?
At the SAG Awards?
Yeah.
I figured they would, but I've seen the speech.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the speech is. I mean, that was made for streaming on the internet. It's perfect. I mean, even had the quirky actress, who was distracting everybody from the content.
That's right. Yeah, there's people are doing memes now of what was Winona thinking.
Well, I've seen them. I've seen it referred to her giving you various emoji. Yeah. The best excuse I've seen so far for her reactions is she wasn't at the table when he gave a read through for everybody of what was being said, so she couldn't hear her, where everybody else knew what he was saying when he was saying it.
Oh, okay.
But that's being very I'll believe that because she did a good job in the show, and I wish all the best for her.
Hey, don't be making fun of Winona. That's my girl. That's my girl.
I'm not making fun of her. She's had her issues, but she's put in, she's done amazing performances.
She is our generation.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So have you gotten used to using this software, Krita?
I'm getting there. I just keep trying it every now and again just to, keep up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see. I mean, it's just it's a different. It's just a different situation.
Sure.
I don't know if that music is loud to you guys, but it's a bit for me, so I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit.
I don't hear it on the channel at all.
You can't hear it on the channel at all?
Well, I think no, that's because that's my own fault.
Oh, okay. All right.
Never underestimate, assisted men to have technical issues and blame other people. There we go. Now that I have my system volume going through.
Well, yeah, now that it's off. We're between tracks, so.
Well, no, I had my system volume going through my my house speakers.
Oh, okay.
But I got my headphones on, so I can't hear what's going through that. But because we're going through a different application, because, Windows. You saw that Windows let you have a different default set of speakers for communication versus normal applications, right?
Yeah.
Yep. That's gotten me a few times.
Well, it takes a while sometimes for old people to get used to the computers.
That's right. Well, Windows 10, I mean, that's new technology here. Yeah. You see that they're going to release what does Apple call that? The screen dimming, night shift. They're going to release night shift for Mac OS.
Oh yeah.
Soon. Yeah.
I like to call that flux.
Well, except for Flux had to use had to sort of hack its way in there.
Yeah, but
you're right. Flux made it prove that people cared about it. But I mean, that's what Apple does, right? They let a fringe person prove that a technology is somewhat viable, and then they find the right way to implement it.
Then they go for it.
Yeah. And part of me wonders if they were working on something like that before, and they're like, oh, no. Everybody cares about their color space on Macs because we're for professionals and artists. They're not going to want that to be touched.
I doubt it. I feel like they probably saw other companies having success and were like, you know what, we should probably get into this market too.
No, I mean before that, like why they didn't get into it until now.
Oh.
You know. Now, I've read some people that said like the work that you had to do, they actually had to change the like the window, not the window manager, but the drawing system to do it well, or else there's an overhead.
Yeah, that would be scary though. Ooh,
yeah.
Speaking of drawing errors. Krita, what you doing? Whoa, what happened there? What in the devil? Okay, you're selected. Whoa, what? Open source for the win.
Well, you know, just open a bug report, and someone will get into it eventually.
Yeah, that was weird. All right. Nothing to see here. Move along. Move along.
I was reading a bug report from like 2012 today for some software that we were using, and a previous version of it interacting with the Linux kernel. And it was interesting reading, like, you know, these different kernel developers responding to the bug, because some of them were like, you know, like, oh, very interesting. That's, you know, we'll take a look at it. One person's like, oh, no, I don't understand why you're saying this is our issue. You should talk to the software vendor, you know. And like, here are these, like, obviously I assume they were Red Hat employees or something, you know, because they were very intimate with the kernel, and they were sort of like in this Bugzilla type open source discussion going on in this forum about like where the fault lay where the fault was lay.
You could go with was
where the fault was, who was faulted, but you know, they eventually fixed it. They patched it. It was a kernel issue,
right? Yeah, I would go with I'd go with lay on that.
Yeah. But it's, you know, and it was a civil discussion where I've seen some people in the open source community. They are
no.
They are more religious than the holy devout.
What?
Yeah, it is. It's interesting to see some of the people go off on their tantrums.
I refuse to believe that. Whoa, what just happened? It had to brain fart for a minute.
Yeah.
Again, it had to brain fart. I've noticed that Krita doesn't like it when you do small, detailed things. Like where I'm doing this little line on this hand right here. That's when it starts to skip around and mess around.
Do you think it's because of the resolution?
Oh no, this thing's got plenty of resolution. I'm not sure what it is, but
interesting. So Krita's based off of KDE.
yes.
I was wondering like what toolkits they were using to make it. That's nice to see that KDE's still doing stuff. Wow, they've got a lot of links for examples and stuff like that too.
Oh yeah, a lot of people love this program. A lot of people in Europe love it too.
Europe is more open to open source than a lot of places.
I know, isn't that weird?
Well, you know, yeah, I think some of it has to do with.
And I mean, I'm not saying that it's weird because they're open. What I'm saying is it's weird that they're the most. Like, I would expect them to be open, but I'd also expect us to at least be a little bit, you know?
Right, but I honestly think that a lot of it may have to do with Microsoft's policies in the school in the U.S. education system. For a
Oh.
long time, because they sort of just made Windows the standard, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because they were trying to push out Apples,
Right.
the Apple IIe's when they were in there, and they just sort of destroyed everybody on pricing, and so I don't think any alternatives got a chance to really take off.
Right.
And I imagine like companies like Adobe and people like that are doing sort of the same at the college level, so it's like, why would I, if I can use Photoshop for free in my school, why would I use an open source software?
Well, I mean, let's be honest, man. We get, at my day job, we get questions and stuff occasionally from people on the forums, things like that, and it's really clear that they're like, more than likely they've cracked the software,
Sure.
Not ours, but the DCC app, and it's like, come on, guys, little less obvious.
Yeah.
Back in my day,
back in the day, it was a little different, wasn't it?
hey, I got busted for piracy.
Well, I think that was when they were starting to get smarter about it, right?
No, well, this was like 98, 99, something like that. No, it was all my fault. I had this cracked version of Lightwave, and you had to have the dongle, and I was like, what's a dongle on the forums? Whoops.
Yeah.
Didn't go so well.
That's crazy, right? Because back then, think about it, they were including physical hardware to allow you to use software on your computer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And if you think about it, you were paying for that piece of hardware.
Well, yeah, that's what you were paying for.
That's almost like having the anti-piracy protection being like finding keywords out of the manual.
Oh man, you remember that?
That's the only reason I kept some of the manuals for some of the games.
Oh, dude, yeah, it was like, go to page 36 and find the 15th word.
But then it only asked you like 6 different possibilities, so you just remembered what they were.
Yeah.
As opposed to like having the whole manual in text form and it just doing a random. But nowadays with like OCR and stuff like that, they could never get away with that.
Oh yeah, man, I remember that. Yeah, I remember when we bought our first computer at Circuit City, the sales associate that helped us was like, yeah, come back tomorrow and I'll give you a whole bunch of free games. And I was like, yeah, sure. So he gave me like a disc with Wolfenstein and, all these games on it.
Well, some of those may have been shareware.
Some of them were, but then some of them were like, they had the manual thing, Mm-hmm. And I called Circuit City and I was like, yeah, dude, listen, I need like a manual or something to play this. And he was like, oh yeah, just bring it back. I'll get it for you.
Oh man.
And I got my parents to take me over there, and sure enough. Because well, yeah, that was like my dad. My dad was trying to get a deal, right? And the dude's like, I'll give you some games and stuff. So my dad considered that part of his responsibility.
Awesome. I remember I got some early shareware in the Amiga days. That was it was legitimate shareware, but it was like the only reason I got it was because I knew somebody else who had an Amiga that had like his ham radio hooked up to it and stuff. So he was he was doing some crazy stuff to get software.
Yeah.
I think I had one cracked version of software at that time. But everything else was on the up and up shareware, and that was before open source was really a big deal. So it was, people would just give the game away for free, but you never got the source to it.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to send like $5 or a postcard or something, you could do that.
That's how Tim started the company.
Yep. I used to play a Monopoly clone all the time on the Amiga. That was like one of the games I played all the time. Because I never really had a good joystick for it, so some of the games were a little difficult to play on the keyboard.
Oh my god, joystick. I got a joystick for Christmas one year. And I think it was the same year that I got a Sound Blaster.
Ha! Nice!
Because the computer that we bought at Circuit City had no sound.
Right.
I mean, there was no sound at all. And so they were like, oh, you got to buy a sound card for it. And then, oh my goodness, me tearing into the computer. My dad's like, I don't know how to do this stuff. And I'm like sitting down tearing into the computer, like trying to figure it out. Luckily I had friends. I had a friend from Poland whose dad was super into computers.
Nice.
And he could like, oh, you just do this, 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 and this. And I'm like, dude, I hope you know what you're doing, man. This 25 megahertz Packard Bell is going to be amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, that was the sound card gave you your joystick port, right?
Yes. Yeah, that extra COM port.
Yeah.
Man, I look back on it now. My parents, I hit them so hard for computer money, so much coming through school. Like, I need this monitor, I need this thing,
Right.
I mean, I guess you could say it was a good investment. Like, I didn't waste that money, clearly, but...
No, it obviously fueled what you do.
Yeah.
So when they run out of retirement money, then they need to live with you. It all balances out.
It all comes out in the wash, as they say.
Because they could have invested that $2,000 in some sort of stock and had $3,000 now.
Oh, I'm well aware. Well aware of that.
I did the math once. My dad had, after the Amiga, my dad bought a Power PC. It was an Apple, I don't remember what model it was, but it was Power PC, so it had the 46 daughter card in it. And it had a 5 1/4 floppy drive.
Woo!
That went, with it, that was able to read DOS disks.
Right.
And you were actually able to run both operating systems at the same time.
Really?
And yeah, it was pretty sharp, because that was the only way you could run it. Right? Is you had to run it on the emulator, had to run inside of the Macintosh environment. You couldn't boot into DOS, right?
Interesting.
But you had an environment that ran in DOS.
Okay.
And so, like, I can't remember how much it cost at the time, but I did some research once and looked at, like, had he spent that same amount of money instead on Apple stock at that time, like, how much would it be worth now?
Oh, you can't do that, though. That's terrible.
Well, I was actually surprised, because it was like, okay, the return would have been impressive, but I mean, we're only talking about a $2,000 investment.
Yeah.
So the return would have been maybe $50,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
Where you just assume, because Apple's done so well, that but it happened to be at a time where the stock was at a high point, before it really dropped. And I mean, that's the thing with any money. If you want to make millions, you sort of have to start off with millions. If you want to make thousands, There you go. You can be a thousandaire.
That's right. I prefer to consider myself a dollar millionaire.
That's right, a dollar minuaire.
Yeah, that's really more. That's really more what I'm set up for.
You know, that 99-cent menu's got some nice stuff on it.
I'm a proud dollar millionaire, sir.
I like their breakfast menu. Sometimes you can get some nice biscuits on there. Unfortunately, with my lack of carb intake right now, that means I have to throw the best part away.
The biscuit.
Yeah. End up with some sort of watery egg and like burnt bacon.
Mmm. Nothing like watery egg.
That's right. Yeah. Good old Mickey D's.
I can honestly say I have not been there in probably a year.
All I've had from them in the last year has been breakfast items since they started doing the breakfast.
Yeah. The all-day breakfast.
Yeah.
Breakfast.
For most of their burgers, like their cheeseburgers, I can sort of eat, but only rarely, and it's like that's like playing Russian roulette.
Yeah, man. Yeah, as you get older, your body just goes no.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, well, it was nice. It was nice holding on to that food for a while.
Nope. It just goes, I'm sorry, were you trying to eat this? Did you think you were going to enjoy this? Ha. Ha. Ha.
No, it's like, I knew you enjoyed this, but let me make it hurt just a little bit on the way out.
I do believe that this perspective is tremendously bad. That feels a little better. A little bit.
Yeah, some of those lines may be off.
I fix.
We'll fix it in post.
I fix.
That's right.
The one thing I can't see that Krita has that is pretty... that, at least for me, has become pretty damn essential is... Okay, fine then. Let me grab the actual, there we go. Is being able to tear off a window and put it on the other monitor so you can see exactly what you're doing. Yeah, so that other leg is potentially going behind the box. The rope, he's sitting on it. Those two lazy bums.
Oh, you gotta have the dragon do all the work for you, right?
Yep. And he's not even looking back in disgust. He's just like, meh, alright.
There's a anime out now called I can't remember the name. It's a long one, but it's basically a dragon maid, where a lady, through circumstances, runs into a dragon and invites the dragon home to be her maid. so the dragon can take on human form or dragon form.
That makes perfect sense.
It does, and of course it's super cute, you know, and slowly they introduce more of her dragon friends into the world. It's cute, but it is, it's like, what a stretch for an idea. There's like no real reason for them to be dragons other than the fact that they're dragons. It could have been any sort of mythical being or some sort of way they had magical powers or something.
Right.
But that's hardly ever like what's, I mean, I guess part of it is sort of, having that super all-powerful, mighty being, being a maid for a person is sort of an interesting twist, but, I don't know. Like this, I guess this dragon has the ability to actually call Armageddon if it wanted to.
But it just gets tea.
Right. No, it's not even that. It's like it tries to cook. I haven't seen it. No, it doesn't do much maidly type activities. It's just dressed as a maid most of the time. But
so
what are you gonna do?
So it's not very good at its job.
No, she isn't. She is. She's. But the lady who has her, doesn't really need a maid either. She's living by herself in a small apartment. But then it got too cramped with that second dragon, so they had to get They had to get a new apartment.
And a third dragon.
Well, a third dragon's coming. They already had the housewarming party, and they introduced the 2 more dragons.
There you go. It's going to turn into Monster Mizume pretty soon.
No, it's not quite that bad. No, it's not. It's not. They definitely keep that stuff sort of. Yeah, they sort of. They keep it on the PG-13.
I can't eat this popsicle.
Oh yeah. There's a new monster girl thing that is much cuter and less overt than that.
Oh really?
That's on right now. That's pretty cool. But even that's some of them are like you get the super cute and then you get the fighting ones, and there's not really much in between. I think that's where the sports anime come in to sort of fill that gap in between the two. Because you can have like a super cute basketball player or soccer player or something like that sort of appeals to the audience. The guys will go, "Hey, I understand that character," and the girls would be like, "Oh, he's so cute." It can still sort of tell an action story.
Right.
So, yeah. I've been sort of disappointed with this season. Most of them were just like shows that I'm not interested in.
I saw I think it was Derek or one of those guys talking about an Archie television show that was on.
Yeah, I think it was based off of like the new Archie comic books that have take place in any sort of environment they want to.
Yeah, I was kind of like, oh man, I'd watch that.
It might be on the CW because that sounds like something they would do. Either that or Netflix, right? The show was named after whatever city they lived in or high school they went to.
Riverdale.
Riverdale, yeah, that's it. I knew it was something Dale. I was like, Hillsdale's not right.
Riverdale.
That's right. He always had the big R. Or do you have an A on his chest? I think Archie had an A on his jacket, didn't he?
I can't remember.
Which makes the whole Betty and Veronica thing a little more interesting. Right?
I always found them interesting.
Well, no. I mean, like, if he was running around with the Scarlet A on his jacket.
Oh. Hester Prynne style?
Yeah.
Let's see what we got going on here now.
No.
I was getting too bogged down looking into the zoomed in version. I got to get out and take a look at the big thing, Hal.
It is an R for Riverdale.
Oh, these shiftless gnomes and barbarians. Oh man, come on. That's the other thing that bothers me about Krita. It's like when I hit the hand, I want it to be the hand. Give me that hand immediately, so I don't end up drawing lines everywhere.
Yeah, it's the CW.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's cool. Makes me want to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, you know, every now and then the CW like has something you won't find anywhere else. As much as I think they've really dropped the ball on some of their DC stuff. Well, you know, I enjoyed the CW's DC stuff until I saw Marvel on Netflix.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I was like, oh, hey, you know, what was it? Arrow. You know,
Ugh.
it's like, hey, I was sort of following that for a while. It was okay. It wasn't too bad. You know, it had the Barrowman from Doctor Who and the spinoff Torchwood.
Right.
You know, and I was like, you know, it's like, oh, that guy, you know, I like him. His character was a little flimsy, and it felt like, you know, they were sort of forcing some of that in there.
Right.
But, you know, it was like, okay, this isn't bad. I mean, we're talking about, you know, the CW. This is network television that is actually telling a comic book sort of story. Sure, why not? You know, it was the Arrow did a better job of progressing than Hero did.
Arrow's just terribly made. I mean, it's just.
You're right. It feels like it's a Canadian show, for lack of a better term.
I mean, it's just like his working with the bow and stuff just didn't feel heroic to me. I'm not saying that the show is poorly made. What I'm saying is that his working with the bow and his like firing arrows and him being the character just didn't feel heroic to me when the episodes that I've seen. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think that
whereas you have like, you know, on the Netflix Marvel stuff, you have like Daredevil they do like a one shot down the hallway of him fighting and like interchanging with the stuntman and like that stuff just wow, you know.
Well, it was the drama part of Arrow that was probably its strongest part, you know, like, you know, but you could only tell his sad backstory so much, right?
Yeah.
You know, and he wasn't really that good of guy at the beginning.
Yeah.
Which made it, you know, it sort of gave you an opportunity to sort of see him try to reinvent himself.
Right.
But, you know, it's like, I don't know. I don't mind a flawed hero, but, you know, I'd rather than be flawed all the way through, like a Tony Stark, or, you know, always like uncompromisingly good, like Superman.
Right.
You know, having this, oh, you know what, I was such a bad person and now I'm a good person now. You know, it's like, okay, well, you've got a whole lot of, you know, conscience you got to work off there, buddy.
You got a whole lot of gooding to do.
That's right. Do more gooding.
Let's see what else we can play with here. One thing I find super interesting about Krita versus the other softwares out there is that their fill. So even Clip Studio Paint and Photoshop, when you do shapes like this and you're not in your pixel mode, you're just in like an anti-aliased brush, when you fill, you'll get that white halo. And if you notice, when you do it with Krita, you don't get the halo, and I'm not in a pixel brush, I'm just in a regular brush, which is pretty interesting because Photoshop's been that way for years. What that tells me is that the technology exists.
Sure.
And it's in an open source software, and artists would kill to have that fill technology in Photoshop without having to do the old expand my selection 1 pixel and fill thing. They would love it.
Well, I mean, if it's an open source software, somebody from Adobe could just read the algorithm, you know?
Yeah.
Unless it's patented, you know? Well, I guess they can't copy it directly. What they can do is they can read the algorithm, describe it to somebody else, and then that somebody else can code it.
They can see how it's implemented.
Right, but then they can't code it themselves.
Yeah. Either way, it gets to be a little bit of dirty pool.
Yeah.
But.
Well, no, I mean it's perfectly okay to do it that way. Because you just want to prevent any copyright where you can say, hey, this person copied the code directly.
Right.
Now that's why the standards books are so important. People code to APIs. That was a big thing in the Linux copyright case. Was some of the header files were like at first they tried to say, hey, you used our header files to write your stuff, and they're like, well, your header files just described what the functions should do. You didn't actually give us the functions.
Dope.
And then the other thing that they complained about was like, but look at this code. This code is exactly the same as our code, and it's like blocks of code, and it was like, well, you're doing this type of this function's supposed to do this type of work. There's only so many ways you can write a for loop.
Right.
This function is to handle closing files. Well, that's probably going to be the same. If everything else is similar, you imagine that the function's going to be written about the same. How are you going to make that wheel round?
Yeah. Little grit, spit.
That was the one thing as I was looking at this, I'm like, that looks like a challenge. Especially with those boards inside of it.
Yeah, this has got a lot of opportunity for texture.
Sure. You gonna put any footprint, like paw prints, on the bottom of the Uggs that he's wearing?
I could.
Make it look like a little barefoot, Bigfoot style.
I don't know what would they have done?
Oh, that'd just be a piece of leather, right? Matted leather or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's no fun.
Whoops. board here felt left out.
Yeah.
I want some wood texture. Whoa. Every now and then, I'd love to know what that process is. It just hangs all of a sudden.
On your system?
Yeah, it kind of did it right there, just a little bit. Yeah, it's the one where, you know, Krita just sort of hangs for a second and then draws the line. It just kind of does it randomly. I need a print statement in the source.
Yeah, I think that would slow it down quite a bit. That's the one thing I discovered, that is there's nothing like printing to standard out to slow down the flow of a program.
I don't know if the technology right there for that this pole existed at the time, but it's going to exist in my drawing.
What, a piece of bent metal?
Yeah.
Why not?
Being used in quite this way.
They've got a dragon, so they've got the power to heat metal up as much as they want.
Touche.
You know? That'd be more impressive if you made that bent metal like a wood texture. Say, look, it's made out of wood.
It's a lathe.
Yeah. You gonna put some sweat on that dragon?
That's why he's going, woo!
Yeah, he's got the eyes. He's got the I'm overworked eyes.
Where'd you go paint, Bucket? Blam! Just don't know if I want to jump onto Frank right yet or not. I need to get back to 100%. A hundy. You know what? I wonder if the fact that I am uploading this to Dropbox every time I save could also be having a problem. Like if I pause Dropbox. Oh Lord, what happened? My kingdom for Windows, focus follows mouse.
See, people don't understand how nice that is. There was some software I used for Windows a long time ago, Windblind, something like that allowed you to like change, like rescan your windows.
Yeah.
And it gave you
window blinds.
Yeah, and it gave you some like this whole software kit gave you the ability to do stuff like that. It was pretty cool.
Why can't art programs come up with a decent way to select and move? Oh, and then I can't see the selection. No. Bummer. I wonder what this tool does. Oh. Let's see if that'll help out. Oh yeah, nope. You know what? I'll just freehand it then. Nope, not gonna freehand it. I'm gonna make it happen quick. It's not bad, but ugh. No, it's gotta be round. Krita, we're fighting on this one. We're figuring this out. By gum. Let's check some tools here and see what we've got. What is that? Dynamic brush tool. Let's see what this is. Can I adjust this? No? Maybe with this? Nope, just draws a line. Guess I could just sort of randomly You know what? Let's do this. Let's just draw the circle. Stroke selection. Black. Nope, okay. What the what? Selection, black. Okay. Let's just take that down to 30. Fill none. Okay. What in the world? That must be a bug. Gotta be a bug.
Well, you gotta file a JIRA.
Yeah. Okay, stroke selection, line. Oh, interesting. So you can change the custom color, but unless you have it set to custom color. Who wrote this? Programmers?
Usually. Although they might have let artists do some writing, and that could just let everything go.
Yeah, no. Artists would know better than to touch it.
That's true. Unless there was like one feature that they wanted, and then they just go, oh, you know what, I'm just going to ask for this and try to sneak it in.
So at least doing it this way, I can...
Hey, your circle is pretty on.
My drawn one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go with the mathematical one.
You should copy that and use that for your background too, for the shade.
Oh, I will.
There you go.
Definitely.
It's too bad you can't add a little bit of wobble to that circle. Like there's no, fake hand draw this.
Yeah, well, sometimes some software has that, but like I could have done current brush and possibly done something with it.
a brush with some sort of ramp in it, like a random ramp in it.
Yeah, well, it'll just work that way. But what I'll do is what I'll end up doing is adding texture to it.
Yeah.
So technically, this wheel will be smaller. Probably about like that, actually. Something like that. Grab that, go to eraser. Alright, so now let's see if we can merge down. Oh, that's gonna be bad. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I knew that. I'm so silly. There we go. Done. Pokemon Remix! Get Swifty. That cannot come out quick enough.
I know. I'm definitely looking forward to a little bit more of that.
You saw the preview thing they did that they showed at San Diego with the pickle?
I don't think I have.
It's from season 3, where Rick, to get out of doing something, I forget what they said. It was pretty silly though. He turns himself into a pickle.
Uh-huh.
But then ends up getting washed down the sewer. And so he constructs like an Iron Man suit out of stuff that's just around to fight off these rats in the sewer. And I mean, it's super violent. And then he uses like all of their, like once he hunts them down and kills them and like takes their entrails and stuff, he uses everything, right? Like he uses all of their parts to make like enhancements to his pickle suit. So he ends up with actual like arms and legs and stuff like that. See what we got here. Whoops. tell you what though, with the caliber of open source stuff that's out there right now, I mean, people have free alternatives for pretty much professional use. I mean, between this and Blender and free game engines, and I mean, jeez, there should be nothing stopping you except for hardware costs. That'll get you, but. And since being able to have a Cintiq, like, I don't think I could go back to a tablet, right? But I definitely started on a tablet, for sure. Even went to some shady back corner alleys of Oakland to buy a tablet, but...
That's right.
Wow, that's a lot of texture. Probably too much texture, but you know what? Meh.
Nah, doesn't look too busy.
You pull out though, and it's like, whoa!
Yeah, but it's gonna be colored, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, see, you put slightly different colors on those panels of wood.
Yeah, it'll work.
It will clean up.
It'll work. Let's put some dusty dust down here. Ooh, easy now.
Wow, you see Double Fine just announced a VR chapter for Psychonauts?
What?
Yes. And it's not the sequel to Psychonauts, it's just like a Psychonauts standalone chapter.
Oh, okay. So
from the original story.
So they're gonna dip their toe into the old VR, huh?
Yeah. It's sort of a bridge chapter, excuse me, between the two stories.
Gotcha.
Nice. Yeah, that game would play well in VR.
Psychonauts?
Yeah.
It definitely could, yeah.
You know, because you had the whole 3D movement going on.
Yeah.
And even if it was just purely a 3D game as opposed to like completely immersive where you had to look around, it would play really well, I think.
Right.
Especially some of those levels, you know, as much as like the world flipped around.
Have you done much VR stuff?
No, I haven't touched any of it.
Oh man, you need to come do a demo.
Yeah.
It'll like playing Robo Recall. Oh man.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Have you seen any of that?
I think I saw like the initial like YouTube video or something, but yeah, it's not the same.
No, it's not. Not by any means.
I keep telling myself that the next time I upgrade my system, I'll get the VR to go with it.
Get that 1070.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got the dual 970s right now.
Yeah, that's not going to be enough.
Or dual 980s.
That's
dual
not
980s.
enough. Not enough.
It meets the minimum specs.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to play anything.
Yeah. You just need a single 1080, right?
Yeah. That's what we're running at work, I do believe.
Yeah, and I guess the place where I would really be hurt is the the engines that don't take advantage of that second card.
Like ours. Yeah.
I didn't want to name any names.
Yeah. No, it shocked me just as much as anyone else.
And the thing that killed me was like I bought my 980s, my dual 980 GTXs, and 2 weeks later the 1080 comes out for less than what I paid for both of those and faster than the two of them put together in SLI mode.
Yep.
But that's okay. I'll just wait.
All right, Frank. Let's get you taken care of here, Frankie, baby. Drop the beat. All the video game sounds. I am honestly pretty excited for the Nintendo Switch as well, which is next month, but there's no way I'm getting one without waiting in line. I missed all my pre-order opportunities. And thus is the way of things. Whoa, what happened there? Lost my pressure sensitivity for a second. In case anybody's just joining, I saw some people jump in Twitch using Create tonight to do some artwork for the new website. Legendofbill.com is moving to a new web server, and so that is both really good news and really bad news. So, but we're gonna at least make some new art for the page just to let people know that we're still there and we're still making strips. Poor Frank, always the hardest worker. I really feel like I need my second window to see what's up.
Well, I'm gonna have to bounce now. I just got a call.
Oh, okay.
Gotta talk to the missus.
Have a good night, sir.
Okay, you have a good one.
Yep.
Let me know how the server migration goes.
Well, hopefully it's already done, but we'll see.
Okay. If you guys have any problems, let me know. I can see if I can throw any weight around.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool.
Later.
Well, have a good one.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye, Toll Dog. Oh, Frank, why do you have to be so complicated to ink, you little dragon? You little scamp. As I ink this face of his, I keep making it going. I find I do that with a lot when I draw. I also feel like I have to go thicker on the lip. Just a little bit. I need to back out and take another look at this. We'll get there in just a minute. Something like that. That's better. Always pull your strokes. Instead of doing what I just did. Alright, let's take a look here. See what we're looking at and save it. A lot in here is definitely going to read better when there's color, no doubt about that. But it's not too bad. Uh-oh. A yawn. It's hard to draw like snoring. Alright, Frank, let's get back at you. Here, I'll just use this. Let's get back to you, Frank. Let me check YouTube. Alright, here we go. And we lost that again. There we go. With Frank's antenna, ears, really their ears. I like filling in all those lines first. Then, because it's a little complicated,
That's how winning is done.
I like to go ahead and try and get the angles on the ends done. Then we'll pull these strokes here. Not always, but I usually have better success getting the inks onto his ears, doing it that way, than just jumping in and starting to draw right off the bat. Or well, starting to ink right off the bat.
That's how winning is done.
Now normally Frank has some interesting cheats to his head, like having both eyes on the same side and how the head sort of works with his nose and nostrils. Let's take a step back and see what we're looking at here. I think there's a few things we should do. what color is going to help. Oh. See if we can get in these hands and tighten them down just a little bit. Why can't I get this? That's one possibility. Yeah, that's better. That works. Well, guys, I may do one or two more things tomorrow, but I think for tonight that's about it. Krita really did a good job, I gotta say, man. Nice, nice. I think there's a few lines that could be thicker and thinner here and there. So we may add a little bit of that. But thanks for hanging out with me. Another stream down, another Monday night. Hope everybody has a great Tuesday tomorrow. And thanks for hanging out with me. Hopefully we'll see you later, a little bit later in the week. Have a good night, everybody.